The first round of the playoffs for the 2018 SSCA AdPro 360 Challenger Series has featured a short track and a road course, but this regular speedway may be the most daunting of all as the field heads to Darlington for the Sim Speed Shop 250, and you're going to get to watch all of the action unfold live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. We also have Nicholas Schmeg helping us out down in the pits. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and he is using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, several years ago, Dave Despain held a poll on the Speed Channel show Wind Tunnel, where he asked fans to list their favourite racetracks. Now, despite the number of NASCAR fans that tuned into that show, only one current NASCAR track at the time made it onto that top 10 list, and that was here, Darlington. What is it that makes this track so popular among race fans and drivers?
You know, Sam, let me run down a few things here. To get to Darlington Raceway, you still drive past the old lumberyard and the cottonseed oil mill until you see the low-slung buildings off of Highway 52. The backstretch seats are still weather-beaten metal, and there's still the kink in the egg-shaped layout that slaps cars in the quarter panel off of Turn 2. It still looks and feels very much like the same place where a rookie named Jeff Gordon, or Dale Earnhardt, or even David Pearson won back in the day, Sam. But one thing is for certain, this is a legendary facility. It's 1.366 miles. It looks like a big egg. 25-degree banking in turns 1 and 2, and 23 degrees over there in 3 and 4. And yeah, you drive them both differently. And well, the old adage is how do you want to set your car up for Darlington? Well, you got to sacrifice somewhere. You got to set it up to run fast in one end and really wicked loose in the other. You choose your poison, but tonight we'll hop on board the GSRC Monster Energy Series. No, I'm sorry, the Xfinity Series Camaro for a ride around Darlington Raceway.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yasek, taking you for a spin around Darlington Raceway in the GSRC Chevrolet Camaro. Darlington is a historic, old, worn-out facility, but it is a driver and fan favorite, all the like. Down into turn 1, let the float out of the gas, kind of hook the apron there a little bit to help it turn. The unique thing about Darlington is you're always playing with the throttle. It's not like your traditional oval tracks where as soon as you get back into the gas, that's it. You're constantly playing with the throttle here at Darlington, so it really takes a smooth foot to get around here great. So, off of turn 4, back down across the line. Really, you're not going to hook that apron again down here into turn 1, letting it float out halfway into the throttle, back into the gas a little bit, then you're back out of the gas again to let it hook towards the bottom. Try to get it going off the corner. Got a little squirrely for me there. Off into turn 3, brake right about where the checkered line starts, or the dotted line on the bottom of the track starts. Now you might see guys run up here, float it up to the middle, and then try to diamond off and go straight off the corner. As the tires run out, that could be a great line to run. So, with that being said, this completes our track guide around Darlington Raceway in the GSRC Chevrolet Camaro. I'm Brian Yasek. Enjoy the show.
Back from a trip around the old lady in black, and tonight the SimSpeedShop.com 200 is on tap for you here on the Global SimRacing Channel. SimSpeedShop.com, a great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to their website, SimSpeedShop.com, or find them on Facebook or even on Twitter. Just type in SimSpeedShop. They'll come up for you, I promise. Sam?
Currently, you saw a bit of activity going on down in the track. That is qualifying, which was underway here at Darlington. And let's take it down to the track where the number 6 car of Gerald Campbell is about to get his attempt underway, because Gerald Campbell was the fastest driver in practice. That means he will be the last driver to attempt a qualifying lap. With only 6 cars having put times down so far, Gerald Campbell will easily slot into the top 3 rows here, I should imagine. But will he be able to put that McDonald's Ford Mustang on pole? Just a few seconds away from finding out. A 28.222 is the time to beat by Gabe Wood. And breath is all out of 4. That's not going to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to help. Not right before the start-finish line there. Of course, we're used to seeing Gerald Campbell in that VFW Ford, but running the McDonald's paint scheme tonight. Why, Sam? Well, we're at Darlington. Most of the drivers throwing it back this evening with some classic paint schemes out there.
Now, Gerald Campbell's last lap time did not count. If you run into the wall during your qualifying attempt on iRacing, it doesn't count. This is a clean lap 2, but the new has gone off of those tyres, and it means he can only go 7th fastest. Well, Sean, the qualifying is over. That means coming up next is a race. Let's take a look. Well, actually, before we take a look at our race details, let's take a look at our championship standings, because this race, of course, playing a significant role as the last race in round 1 of the playoffs.
All right, Sam, and there you go. Gabe Wood right there at the top. Listen, he's 124 points to the good. Gabe's going to advance to the second round of these playoffs, and guess what? So's William Davis. So's everybody right now in the top 7. Adam Eisenhower, listen, he can't afford a bad night. Donald Stewart right back there in 9th, and he is here this evening and definitely racing for a win. And certainly those points, and Adam Eisenhower's really going to have to mind his business and hope that he can have a good evening and carry himself into the playoffs. Sam, it's really the only interesting battle we have left there is between those two right now. Donald Stewart on the bubble of basically not making the second round of the playoffs, and Adam Eisenhower clawing onto it, just trying to hang on and get himself through to the next round.
Now, the good news for Adam Eisenhower there, you see, is he has an 11-point advantage over Donald Stewart. And the sad news for us, Sean, but the good news for Adam, is we have a relatively small car count here tonight, just 11 cars. So that means essentially for Donald Stewart to work his way into the playoffs, even if all he can do is finish second, he would basically have to depend on Adam Eisenhower finishing last. So let's go back to the other point you just said, and that's that basically he's got to win tonight.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, that's it. You got to win to get in, and really, that's it. But he's here, and that's half the battle, Sam. So you got to show up for a chance to win, and Donald Stewart is here. He didn't take a quality time, but we'll see what kind of race he can throw down here at Darlington. Listen, this track is either a driver's favorite or it's their least favorite. There's really not much in between. For all we know, this could be Donald Stewart's best track on the service, and we're just waiting for him to roll off and beat the pants off of these guys tonight.
Well, when you take a look at qualifying practice times, rather, Donald Stewart didn't turn a lap in qualifying. He was 4th fastest in practice. So, hey, let's take a quick look at those race details that I almost led us to a bit too early. We are in round 3 of the playoffs, but the playoffs are split up. 3 races is the first round of the playoffs. Races 4 through 6 are the second round of playoffs, and then, of course, the final 4 make it to the grand finale. That is race 7 of the playoffs, and that will be at Homestead, where winner takes all. These are the NASCAR XFINITY cars they're driving, the Chevy, the Ford, and the Toyota. Fixed setups, they only have 5 sets of tyres for the race, which could be quite tricky when it comes to strategy, especially given how the tyres normally fall off here. We'll get down to our pit reporter, Nicholas Schmeck, on that in just a moment. If you cause 2 incidents during tonight's race, you will be penalised. And if there is a caution within the final few laps of a race, we will get a green-white checkered at the end. Now, Nicholas, the fact that these drivers only have 5 sets of tyres that they can take during the race, some tracks we've been to, Talladega and road courses come to mind, where your strategy was pretty much set before the green flag flew. Here, though, far from it. You've really got to think about when you want to use those tires. But also, another thing I'm noticing, quite a cool track temperature. Do you think that will help these drivers tonight?
Yeah, I think that might be the one of their only saving graces tonight. I mean, Darlington, really, when you think of it, really takes a beating on these drivers. It's not an easy track to keep your car clean. You're going to be in the pits a lot, hopefully not for the drivers, but we'll see a lot of guys repairing damage. Everyone's going to get that Darlington stripe, but if they can have any saving grace tonight, definitely going to be that temperature.
All right, and we're seeing one car already that came off a bit worse during qualifying, got a little bit of a knock at the front end of a machine. Such was not the case for Gabe Wood, who with his 28.222 is a round 19 winner of a Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. For every 2 poles, the driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com, which is not only tonight's race sponsor, but it's also a great place to order custom button boxes, as well as to buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. Sean, if you won one of those button boxes, what would you be your favourite button to push here at Darlington? Would it be the tyres button? Give me 4 fresh good years.
Yes, Sam, that would be my favorite. Yeah, that definitely. I'd want some assistance with those tires. You're going to need them every time you got to come in this evening. This track very, very tough on the tires, Sam, and it has a lot to do with that banking. It has a lot to do with where you're braking and how hard you have to get on those sometimes to slow the car down. Really throwing a lot of heat to the tires here, and it's a bit warm this evening. It's not blazing hot. It is, I say this evening, under daytime conditions. It's 85 degrees outside, or I'm sorry, 76 degrees outside. It's 85 degrees on track. That's our track temperature. We've got a little bit of wind coming out of the west. That could be a small factor, maybe if you get yourself high up in one of those turns and you get that wind gusting a bit, it could upset the car. And Sam, grip is the thing they talk about here most often, and needing it and trying to find it. Tonight, we'll see. It may be a mixed bag for these drivers.
And talking about wind down in South Carolina, obviously our best wishes are with all those people about to live through Hurricane Florence down there, and of course Darlington Speedway, one of the racetracks down there in South Carolina. I also know, Sean, and maybe this could be contributing to the lack of participation we're seeing tonight, several members of the SSCA are based down here in the Carolinas, so wish them all the best over the next couple of days, and for those who aren't here tonight, hope to be able to see you back when we go to Indianapolis next Thursday.
Yeah, certainly our thoughts are with all of those people, and including the members of the league. And in fact, I just happened to see maybe a couple hours ago, I know Joe Johnson, who we've seen here in the league, he is going to be evacuating. So yeah, it's hitting close to home for a lot of these guys, but they're going to forge on tonight. And right now the plan is to forge on tomorrow night for the AdPro Cup Series, and we'll be right here on the Global SimRacing Channel with that. But Sam, tonight it's all about getting around the track they call Too Tough to Tame, and you know why they picked that up, Sam? Because you could get around here. The old thing was you could get around here for 2 or 3 laps, clean and fast, and have the best handling car in the world, and then all of a sudden that 4th lap, the car just jump out of line and slap that wall coming out of turn 4, and well, that's where they came up with the old saying, too tough to tame.
And it's interesting, handing it back down to our pit reporter, Nicholas, right before we go green here. As qualifying wraps up, we've got 14 drivers registered for the season, for the session. 7 drivers turned a lap during qualifying. 7 opted not to. 150 laps. They've still got time to work our way through this field.
Yeah, passing not easy at Darlington. We know it's basically a 1-lane track. You want to be right up next to that wall. But, I think we're going to see a lot of strategy in the pits tonight, just trying to gain up that track position and work your way up. But, 150 laps, a lot can happen in that time span.
And talking about time span, there you see the clock runs down to 0 in the top left and then back up to 40, because iRacing always likes to add a bit of time for anyone who is on the lap. No one is on the lap, though. We will go through our qualifying order in just a couple moments here on the GSRC. I kind of don't want to bring up a grid yet before we advance to the race session, because I know sometimes iRacing will reorder the drivers who didn't turn a lap in qualifying when we do advance the session. So just got a couple more moments to wait here, Sean. What we do know is our front row will be Gabe Wood and Kyle Kemmer, and they'll start side by side, but you want to be single file, honestly, by the time you get to turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you do want to try and get things sorted out before you get through 1 and 2. It may not happen that way. You may wind up being the car shuffled towards the bottom, and that turn is wide and sweeping, and down on the bottom there, not a horrible place to be, but you better have it sorted out before you get to 3, Sam, because that's where the track will bottleneck a little bit, and that racing line gets a lot tighter down through there.
All right, so here is our grid. As we just mentioned, it is Gabe Wood on pole position ahead of Kyle Kemmer in second place, Sean.
All right, in row 2, it's going to be Mark Clewell in the number 65, Kyle Barnes tonight starting in the number 46.
2 drivers who are safely into the playoffs on points on row number 5. Those are John Theodore and Trey Galgan.
All right, row 4 is going to be Gerald Campbell and that McDonald's Ford, and Josh Bonwell in number 56. Going to start outside of him in 8th.
Yeah, he got ranked first out of the drivers who did not turn the lap during qualifying. Right behind him, Adam Eisenhower and Judd Danielson round out the top 10.
All right, row 6, Will Davis in number 11. Going to start 11th tonight. Mark McFadden in number 48. He'll start 12th, Sam.
And then on the final row will be Jeremy Crandall and Donald Stewart. The one driver who really needs to win tonight is going to have to do it all the way from the back of a field.
That may not be a bad place to be, though, as we get this race started, Sam.
Well, hold on, Sean. He's not in the session. They're rolling off without him.
Oh.
All right, this could be really good news for Adam Eisenhower if Donald Stewart doesn't get here within the next couple of laps. Because let's be honest, with a 13 or 14 car field, we don't anticipate a whole lot of cautions today, and if Donald Stewart starts this race a couple of laps down, he's not going to be able to make those back.
Going to be really tough, Sam. I've not seen him coming back. Here we go.
This race is 3 stages long. It's 150 laps. First stage is 40 laps. The second stage, another 40 laps. And then the final stage will take us to the end, 70 laps, where the drivers will have to make a pit stop for fuel at some point during that, because they can only make it about 50 laps on fuel. Not unusual to see the opening stage go green, and it's a green car leading us to the green flag as Gabe Wood brings the pack out of turn number 4, and for those about to race, we salute you, because it is time to dance at the Lady in Black. Drag race down into the first turn. Gabe Wood not able to clear Kyle Cameron until they throw it off in there, and now the 00 gets out in front, the 88 back to second.
Boy, Gerald Campbell already sliding the car around back there in the number 6. Picked up one spot there on the start, getting by Trey Galgan.
So already the field trying to single file out, get a clean opening to this race, and as they complete lap number 1, the driver back there in 10th position, Adam Eisenhower, might be one of the happier drivers here at the track now, because still no sign of Donald Stewart. It looks like we know who our 8 drivers are advancing to the second round of the playoffs.
Sam Campbell back here making another move, trying to get under John Theodore, almost loses the car. Almost got into Trey Galgan there, getting out of turn 4. The rear end of Campbell's car just whipped around on him. Nice save. Up ahead of them, Kyle Barnes makes a move on the struggling 88 of Kyle Cameron.
Yeah, Kyle Cameron came out of turn 4 in second, but you saw him drift. He was getting past on the low side, drifted up into the wall in turns 1 and 2, and he is going backwards in a hurry, already down to 6th.
Oh, and man, Still struggling up there is the 65 of Mark Clewell. He got a piece of the wall just a moment ago. Barnes picks up another spot. He's up in the second, Sam.
Great news for Kyle Barnes, who now runs second place in the number 46 machine. The bad news, Sean, is he is 1.5 seconds back of Gabe Wood already.
Yeah, Gabe said, hey, I'm getting away from all this. Let me get out and stretch my legs a little bit here to get this race started.
Yeah, but let's not forget the curse on Gabe Woods. He has still yet to win a road course race this season. He's pulled it off at an oval race this season. He's pulled it off at a road course. There was a change for 6th place going on back end there. Trey Galgan got by Carl Kammer.
Yeah, Kammer's car just not right after he picked up a little bit of damage on the right side. He flat spotted it a bit, Sam, and his pace is off, and he's continuing to drop through the field. That's 5 spots he's lost now.
Sean, I don't want to keep throwing bad omens at Gabe Wood, but let's also point out that he is our defending race winner in the series coming into this race. He won last time out at Road America. No driver this season has gone back-to-back yet. That has been how competitive this AdPro 360 Challenger Series has been throughout the year.
Well, I think Gabe has done a good job of setting the tone for another win this evening. Now, we got a long way to go, Sam, and he's got to figure this out for the entire distance. But this battle for third is really, really heating up here. Mark Clewell, John Theodore, Gerald Campbell. Campbell had gotten right up alongside Theodore, thought he was going to pass him. He decided to drop back and just kind of hang in there. This is a long green flag run developing, and Campbell might be thinking about maybe saving a fuel, trying to make it to that 50, Sam.
Yeah, and all 3 of these drivers are drivers who have advanced to the second round of the playoffs. Let's not forget that there are still a lot of bonus points out there on the line today, as there's a pass going on for 7th place behind them. Josh Bonwell has just picked up a spot from Kyle Kammer. Definitely not a good opening stage for the 88 machine.
Boy, maybe this is where the bleeding stops for Kammer. He's starting to kind of get it back together here. And
Danielson just earned a stripe coming out of turn number, I believe that was turn number 2. Yeah, down the back straight.
He plowed it in the wall, Sam. That wasn't just a love tap. That was going in hard. We've got a replay of it. Let's look and see what happened there to the number 17 Lowe's car.
Yeah, if you call this a kiss, this is like where you're trying to gently give someone a kiss and then you trip over yourself and fall flat on them right there.
Yeah, too aggressive. Ease up. It's first date. Come on, you don't want to.
Yeah, the lady in black. I mean, she's got a lot of drivers around here.
Man, this is really hot though for second or for third place. I know. Look at Campbell up there near the wall. Makes contact with Gerald Campbell. Clewell, Campbell get together for just a moment, Sam.
Yeah, I believe that happened about half a lap ago down there on the front straight. Campbell, boy, really had to go on the apron to kind of get out of that, but it worked. He was up there he's now up there in 4th position. That's why this track is so narrow, to be correct me if I'm wrong here, Sean. The initial plan before they understood how banking worked was that the bottom part of the racetrack, the apron, was initially meant to be the racetrack, and this banking up here was kind of just a runoff area, the hard shoulder, if you would. And then they realized, hey, it's actually faster up here.
There's this thing called centrifugal force, and you can carry momentum. Say that Gerald Campbell just ever so close to that wall coming out of turn 2. High, wide, and handsome. Hell, you know what? That turn may have even started at Darlington Raceway as well, Sam. Is that really is the line here?
Yeah, having a couple drivers blink in and out on my screen. Will Davis was running in 11th place a couple of laps ago, and now his 11 machine is shown in last place, so something's happened to him. He's still out there circling on the lead lap, but not going in the right direction.
Well, we've got a battle here in the middle of the field right now, Sam. Sixth place, certainly not safe for Trey Galvin. That's where he started, but Josh Bonwell may be starting to catch him here just a little bit. Bonwell still got Kyle Kammer hot on his tail. Kammer has appeared to recover from his early... big mistake there for the 49. Oh, and look at Kammer go to the inside. He snuck in there.
Well, Kammer's trying to make up for his bad start here. He was able to get one position back, not two. Not missing anything up front, by the way. Gabe Wood has now broke up his lead to 3.5 seconds.
Campbell gets around Kyle Barnes. Boy, Barnes is making tracks up there, too. I guess his early charge starting to kind of fall off. The car starting to go away from him here 17 laps in.
Yeah, but let's not also forget, Dremel Campbell, he started 7th. Yeah, sure, he had the slowest qualifying time, but we saw that on screen. It's because he knocked the wall down off a 4 at the end of his first lap and coming to start his second lap. That cost him on both laps. And now he's showing what he's capable of, the fastest car on practice. And it wouldn't surprise me, Sean, if the driver of that 6 car is the one who has what it takes to beat the 00 today.
Right on board with Theodore here, watching Gerald try to take this spot away from him. Gerald hanging in there, riding right up on that rear bumper.
Yeah,
and Theodore gets the wall, yep.
Definitely got a large bit of a wall there in turns 3 and 4. They was able to hold on, but it's definitely not going to help the handling of his car, and it's definitely not going to help the patience of Dremel Campbell. He'll want to get by this beaten number 27 machine now. Kyle Barnes just yielded 5th place. No, 4th place, I'm sorry.
4th place, yep.
4th to Mark Clewell.
Yeah, it seems like we were talking about Kammer recovering. It looks like Clewell's starting to recover just a little bit, maybe. Again, or that's Kyle Barnes' car just totally going away after charging up through the field early. Could be a combination of both.
I think John Theodore found the Keselowski fender. He got in the wall a couple laps ago, just went out and almost ran his personal best lap of the race. Yeah, he was able to pull away from Campbell on lap 19. Lap 20, which they just completed, wasn't so fortunate. Oh, that Keselowski fender only worked for 1 lap.
Well, Sam, Theodore's damage on the right front is pretty good, actually, and little surprised that he's able to keep himself in front of Campbell. Campbell maybe a little too high, maybe right up into the wall that time around. It was awful close. Still closing here on Theodore.
And all these drivers who have essentially raced their ways into the second round of the playoffs now, they're going to be paying much stronger attention to each other now than what I should have. Oh, Theodore gets a piece of the ball again, pretty nice.
Nah, Campbell's got to try and stay out of him there as he almost ran him over. Yeah, that's not where Campbell wants to be.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen Campbell below the white line there, down on the apron. A little bit less dramatic that time around, though. Makes you wonder, Sean, is Campbell able to save anything as he's doing this? I mean, even if he is saving his tyres, if he can get by John Theodore for second, he's not going to have time left in this stage to close up that 3.5 second gap with Gabe Wood.
Yeah, I don't see Gabe Wood just giving up a 3.5 second unless he makes a mistake, Sam. I mean, this track, if anything, it'd have to jump out and bite you, and it certainly could happen to Gabe Wood. We don't want to wish any ill will on him, but I can't overemphasize the fact enough. There's still a very, very long way to go here. Even in the stage, we've still got 15 laps. Right now, Gerald Campbell looked to try and make a move coming off the turn, but I don't think he had the car in the right spot to do it with.
And it's not out of the question that a couple cars might go a lap down by the end of this stage. The tricky nature of the circuit means some drivers have a bit of a better time here than others. Mark McFadden already 24 seconds down. Jeremy Crandall already 23 seconds down. The lap times around here clicking off about 30 seconds a lap with 15 laps to go in the stage. Not sure the 73 and the 48 will be able to hold on. Pass for 10th place going on. Will Davis just got by Judd Danielson. I think Will Davis was involved in some kind of incident at the start of a race, Sean, and he's actually pulling a bit of a comeback from that. Oh, and you talked about mistakes for the leader. Gabe Wood just put it in the wall. Now, let's not recall, this isn't the first time that we have seen this in the playoffs. He did it at the very first race in the playoffs, Bristol. You could almost say that cost him the win. Just unforced errors, really, while he was running up in the lead. He got away with one, Sean. It's not the worst one we've seen today.
No, it's not the worst one, but the damage looks pretty significant on the car. He's going to hit it. That's going to wrinkle up the right side just a little bit, Sam, and that's the problem with Darlington. Once you've hit that wall, you may hit it again because the car obviously not turning maybe like it once did. Gabe's still showing he's got the wheels here and still holds a 3.1 second advantage, but let's see what happens here over the remainder of the run as we're just about 10 laps to go here in this stage.
10 laps will click off in about 5 minutes, and then our pit reporter Nicholas Schmeg will have a call of pit stops down there, and it will be interesting to see if any of these front runners, particularly John Theodore coming to mind in the 27 machine in second, will take some extra time doing their pit stop, Nicholas, to try and pull out a couple of fenders.
Oh, yeah. Campbell's struggling here all of a sudden, Sam.
So, all of our top three have had their moments. Obviously, the tyres going away as we're now approaching 30.
Hang on, Sam. Battle for fourth. Barnes back on his horse here, making a move on Clewell, going into one.
Takes it easily. So, Kyle Barnes and the 46 back up there. That's a recognisable paint scheme, Sean.
Days of Thunder, buddy. Yes, sir. Definitely recognizable. The Superflow car from Days of Thunder. It's not high on my list, the movie, and I'm trying to remember who drove that car. Was that Cole Trickle's car or Rowdy Yates' car? It was Cole Trickle's car. All right, there we go. Director confirming that for me. Thank you. Now everybody's going to hate me because I haven't seen Days of Thunder 500 times. I have seen Stroker Race more than 500 times, though, and that is a far superior movie, in my opinion. You know what? Sam, did Cameron just pass Bump? Yes, he did. Cameron gets back to 6th place. He continues to move up the board here towards the end of the stage.
Yeah, Bonwell may even lose a place to Adam Eisenhower. As we mentioned, Dyke is liking today's race because it looks like he has solidified himself a position in round 2 of the playoffs. A couple of drivers not liking today's race that we mentioned just a moment ago. Jeremy Crandall and Mark McFadden on the verge of about to go a lap down to our race leader, Gabe Wood. who, as we mentioned, slid into the wall a little bit ago. That has cut the lead. He holds over John Theodore down to under 3 seconds as he approaches this lap traffic. Still not enough, I believe, for Theodore to run him down on pace as Mark McFadden pulls over for our race leader. But definitely Wood has just got to be a little bit careful. There's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, and he's going to hit a bit of traffic here as he comes through the field. In fact, who's that right in front of him? That's the old Milwaukee car of Jeremy Crandall. That was a livery that the great Tim Richmond made popular back in the 80s. In a Pontiac, I believe that was.
Yeah, so we're watching our race leader now. Now, the group that we had on track just a moment ago was the battle going on for 6th place, where Carl Kemmer dropped back in the middle of a race. Now he's finally starting to come back. Bonwell going in the wrong direction in 7th. He's been losing a couple of spots the last couple of laps. Meanwhile, Adam Eisenhower's been moving back up through the field. He's in 8th. He might be thinking about taking 7th as they come to 4 to go in the opening stage.
It's been a great opening stage, Sam. I don't want to jinx anything here. I'm not going to say anything, but these drivers coming here focused this evening. Most of the field really showing strong runs here tonight.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, I started mentioning this earlier, Sean, and then we got the battle on track. Don't be surprised if it happens again. But I have a feeling the 8 drivers who will be locked into the round 2 of the playoffs are really sizing each other up today, because the second round of the playoffs is not going to be anything like the first round. We have been to a diverse group of racetracks for this first round of the playoffs. We've been to Bristol, a short track. We've been to Road America, a road course. And now we're here to Darlington. Even though it's a speedway, it's definitely odd shape. Next, we go to Indianapolis, Kansas, and Phoenix. Now, granted, one of those is on the verge of being a short track, and one of those is on the verge of being a super speedway. But at the end of the day, Sean, they are all speedways. And, you know, in a way, they all require the same mentality, the same process of being able to race. And so that's why I think drivers are taking... You know, that they've got to be paying close attention to their competition, because we're at a speedway tonight. We're at speedways pretty much throughout the rest of the season. You got to know who your competition is with just a few races left.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Sam. Yeah, that's definitely it. You know, the lack of a road course in that mix certainly kind of plays into the favor of probably most of the guys here in the league. So, yeah, now they've probably had that second round targeted for some time. Oh, is there... I'm just seeing... Is that Kyle Barnes just kind of pulled over, let Clewell get on by as they start to come around that track?
Right at the end of the stage here.
Yeah.
Because there we go. Gabe Wood has won stage number 1. That'll give him some bonus points ahead of John Theodore, Gerald Campbell, Mark Clewell, Kyle Barnes, Kyle Kemmer, Josh Bonwell, Adam Eisenhower, Trey Galgan, and Will Davis round out the top 10 here in stage number 1. 11 cars stayed on the lead lap, 2 cars went 1 lap down, so Jeremy Crandall will get away from round. Mark McFadden's got to find another way back onto the lead lap.
The old-fashioned way, Sam. He's going to have to earn it. Well, it's not really the old-fashioned way. It's be the lucky dog way. The old-fashioned way was you did have to earn it, and then they brought in the lucky dog, which kind of changed that a little bit.
You know, Jeremy Crandall should get that lucky dog this time by. Not sure. Oh, yep, here it is. Pit road is open. They are heading your way, Nicholas. I anticipate a lot of 4-tire stops.
Yeah, I think there was about 13 drivers on the track just now. Let out a sigh of relief that they could use one of their first 5 sets of tires so they could get back on the track with fresh tires. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a guy like Mark Clewell and Kyle Barnes come out of these pits first or second, they're not going to have to make as many extensive right front repairs as Gabriel Wood, John Theodore, and Campbell up there in the top 3. They all took significant right front damage. Lewell and Barnes are going to have a clean stop, though.
They all hit their pit boxes, paying close attention to here. One driver overshot their pit still.
Yeah, other than that, looks like we've got a lot of 4-tire stops and some extended repairs. And it looks like Gabe Wood's going to pretty easily win that race off pit road there. Gerald Campbell behind him. Mark Clewell, like I said, in 3rd place after that. He's going to be able to get past some of the guys up front making right front repairs.
Yeah, looks like John Theodore just leaving his pit stall now. So the 27 machine getting some extensive repairs done in the pits. Carl Kemmer, Trey Galgan still down there as well. So even though it was a clean and green opening 40 laps to this race, Sean, some drivers ending the stage with cars that weren't as pretty. As we see a couple of lap cars coming into the pits to... Oh, this is Gabe Woods coming back in.
Yeah, Gabe Woods in. It certainly can't be a penalty. Did they forget something?
Doesn't look like he's got much right front damage repaired. Not sure if maybe he's just coming back down as a precautionary here, guys.
Oh, I mean, he knows he's got a fast race car. Maybe, Nick, that's exactly what he's doing, is coming back in and getting that banged out a little bit more.
Yeah,
there
that's my best guess there.
It's not up on the jack.
Yep, seeing some damage repair there for Wood. I mean, long race still left to go. You don't want to have a banged up race car for the entire time.
Yeah, and as long as he doesn't lose the lap here, he's okay. He'll get back out there at the tail end, and again, he's got a fast race car. He knows that. He's going to have time to fight back here. He already won the stage.
Kyle Barnes now coming in.
This one's a little more interesting. I didn't see much damage on his car. Not quite sure what this is, unless he just wants to... I can't imagine he just wants to drop to the rear and stay clear of potential wrecks up front, but you never know.
Well, especially considering what's interesting for Kyle Barnes is he's not a points contender in this championship, so he's just here for fun and get the win. But honestly, that's a nice thing about pretty much having our top 8 drivers solidified now here, Sean. No one's really racing for points at this point tonight. They're all out here racing for that victory.
It looks like Kyle Barnes may have just come down to top off fuel, maybe try to make the end of stage 2. I'm not sure if he forgot to do that in stage 1 or miscalculated there.
Yeah, well, we're about to get stage 2 underway as they come around to complete lap 45. 35 laps separate these drivers from the end of stage number 2. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you already saw these cars slipping and sliding after just 30 laps in the opening stage. Gerald Campbell and Mark Clewell, our front rowers. We go back to racing, and a nice launch off the line from Campbell. Once again, Sean, all these drivers determined to get a single file as possible. Gabe Wood already worked his way back up into 8th position. On down the back straight, coming to turns 3 and 4 now. Gerald Campbell leads them around to complete lap number 46. Already pulling away from the 65 car. Will Davis now up there in 3rd place. Not sure if he made a bit of a strategy call to get up there. Definitely seemed to be struggling a bit in the opening stage, but the 11 car seems to have came alive.
Sam, I worry about the side-by-side battling that Gabe Wood's having to do back here in the field right now to get himself back up there. side by side with Bonwell, and boy, that just didn't look like any fun.
Close battle for 4th place, going through turns 1 and 2. Kyle Kammer going underneath John Theodore, pulls it off, but boy, things getting dicey by Theodore now. Eisenhower holding on to 6th place. Gabe Wood moving up to 7th ahead of Josh Bonwell. Gabe Wood trying to continue his charge for 6th.
Yeah, no, boy, the front end got a little wicked on his car.
Now, let's not forget Gabe Wood, even though he was the fastest driver, let's say the dominant car, the opening stage, he also knocked the wall down a few times at the end of that stage. He might want to be careful about what he's doing to his tyres here, Sean. Doesn't seem to be bothering him right now, though. The 00 is back up into 6th position. So Gerald Campbell currently leading him around ahead of Mark Clairwell, and Will Davis riding nose tail for 2nd.
Boy, and all of a sudden, Will Davis, a factor in this race. That first segment, just quiet. Nothing out of Will Davis. And now, Sam, threatening Clewell here for the 2nd spot.
Will Davis, not one of the drivers racing for... Oh, I take that back. He is one of the drivers racing for points in this division. Of course, you see the orange on his split-down windshield indicating that. I just completely phased him out of my mind there because he's already locked into the playoffs from a win back in Bristol. Of course, he'll have to try and do it all again, beginning next time out at Indianapolis, lock himself into that Final 4. Gotta ask, Sean, while we get a bit of single-file racing going on around here, who do you think are going to be some of the drivers we will see in that Final 4 at Homestead?
Boy, Sam, you're putting me on the spot, man. Yeah, I would definitely say Gerald Campbell's going to be there, but I think Gabe Wood will be there too. I think he's got a shot at this.
No, I'll go ahead and agree with Gabe Wood because, you know, one driver's got to make it into the playoffs without taking a speedway win.
Yeah.
We're just giving him a hard time about that till he picks one of these off. Gabe Wood is always one of the drivers who's a delight to talk to in the post-race interviews. He knows he's been number 2 a lot of races this year, and speaking of number 2, Will Davis just took that with a power move on Mark Clairwell down in turn number 3.
Maybe Davis was holding out on us, maybe sandbagging a little bit there in that first segment.
I almost wonder if Gabe Wood has been doing that all season to us, Sean. He knows he could close the deal so many races, he just hasn't done it, so he's like, yeah, let's make him not think about me until it comes time to Homestead.
Right. He is all over Theodore right now. Theodore holding a good line, though. It doesn't look like it's bothering him one bit.
Kyle Kammer in front of these two. He's definitely a driver who's had an up and down race so far. Started 2nd, currently in 4th, but has his eyes in his rearview mirror right now because he didn't get a good run off of turn 2, and John Theodore almost took advantage of it.
Almost looks like Gabe Wood's trying to take the air off the rear end there on Theodore. Try and help him out of the way. Oh, what a run. What a run.
This battle going on for 5th position right now. Gabe Wood has kind of stalled out in 6th place after restarting towards the tail end of this train. After a late pit stop under our stage 1 end in yellow. Give a shout out
Here we
to
go.
Adam Eisenhower right behind them both. Here comes Wood.
Yeah, Theodore going to keep it up top where he's been. You see he's got the momentum now off the top of the turn. How many laps do you want to do this for? Not too many.
John Theodore has definitely been in recent rounds, Sean, as once again these two go side by side. One of the drivers not afraid to spice it up a little bit. It will be interesting seeing over the course of the next 3 races if that helps or hurts him with regards to making... Oh, it's hard into the wall behind them both goes Adam Eisenhower. Eisenhower was struggling to recover the car all the way down the front straight. That's why you saw him down there on the apron.
And Sam, Gabe Wood finally gets that pass done on John Theodore. It gets him up to 5th. Now tracking on Kyle Kammer. Just about, 0.6 of a second in front of him.
Meanwhile, up in front of all of these, Gerald Campbell holds 1.1 second lead over Will Davis, which is not as much as what was. Gerald Campbell. Gerald Campbell did not have a very good lap number 60. His lap time was half a second off. He's back on pace now, but yeah, Gerald Campbell must have made a mistake a couple laps ago. Now it's Davis's turn to bite the wall a couple of times, and that's going to allow Clairwell to run him down. I'd say two of the... I know we've given Gabe Wood a hard time at not being able to seal the deal this season with race victory, Sean. But another 2 drivers who are definitely going to be contenders to make it all the way to Homestead, who haven't taken a victory this season. Both their names end in well, and that is Mark Clairwell and Josh Bomwell. Both of them drivers advancing to round 2 of the playoffs, and both of them, I think, will be looking for a little bit of magic to make it to the finale.
Look
Series
at
C.
They're back at it.
Gabe Wood defending on the exit of 4 there ahead of John Theodore.
Yeah, and both cars have evened out here during this run, obviously, okay? And Theodore's still got a little bit of a car here he can fight with. It's giving Gabe Wood all he can handle at the moment. Just like that, Sam, we've got, 15 till the end of the stage here.
Single file for now, but we've seen throughout the duration of the race how quickly that can change. In fact, once again, it's changing up front. Gerald Campbell losing time to the 11 of Will Davis.
He was, and Davis just had big trouble, Sam. Coming out of turn 4, he got a piece of it, man. And here comes Clewell trying to close the door here and maybe get up in front and slam the door in his face. But Clewell trying to take advantage of that little mistake.
So we've had 2 drivers up front right now who have had strong performances this season and victories this season. Gerald Campbell, it appears, even though he's controlling the race, every now and then he's letting his car slide away from him, much like what we saw to Gabe Wood happen to Gabe Wood in the opening stage, where he was dominating that stage, but things started to fall away from him in the closing moments, in the closing laps of stage number 1. Will Davis trying to capitalize on Gerald Campbell's errors, but making a few of his own. And that's allowing one of the drivers who, as we just mentioned, has yet to bring home a checkered flag this season, Mark Clairwell, running there in 3rd place, thinking, boy, wouldn't it be nice to enter round 2 of the playoffs off of a victory.
Davis
And-
with contact in the wall again, Sam. And Clewell's going to get this done here.
Yeah, Gabe Wood just got a little bit of a wall a little while ago as well. Oh boy, things getting close there for second place as these two run side by side. That's not something you want to do at Darlington. It's going to allow everyone behind them to close in on them.
Oh, look at that checkup. Wow. Oh, man, everybody had to check up there.
This is great news for Trevor Campbell, who's now able to pull out over 1.5 second lead over this. But what it does mean, well, actually, it doesn't mean a whole lot. They're all in the order that they started in. Here we go, Gabe Wood trying to take a look for fourth under Carl Kemmer. Didn't work. So things calmed down a little bit, Sean, but with 10 laps
What's your
left to
definition
go.
of calm, Sam? What's your definition of calm? They're losing the tires on these machines. I'm seeing Will Davis holding off Clewell. He's still slapping that wall coming out of 4.
The definition of calm right now is a single file. I'm not sure they're going to stay that way, though. With less than 10 laps left to go in stage number 2. All these drivers currently running out there on their second set of 5 tyres. At the end of this stage, if they all have half a brain, they'll all come in and put on 4 fresh Goodyears for the closing stage.
Yeah, they will.
And they'll be on their third set of tyres. Then the question, though, becomes, Sean, how many cautions will we see in that last stage, and what kind of strategy will we see?
Clewell's got to run. Clewell's got to run here on Davis. As I say that, Theodore makes a run at Gabe Wood. Nothing calm.
Davis definitely got a piece of the wall, and Clewell thought about trying to capitalize on it. All this is allowing another driver to join this pack at the far back there, Sean. That's Josh Bromwell in 7th place.
He's within reach, definitely. Oh man, Davis struggling up there.
He was sliding off of turn 4. He definitely did not have 100% control of that vehicle. And Clewell going to take full advantage of it. And into the wall goes Davis again. Six laps left to go in this stage as they come to the...
Oh no! Campbell's in the wall! Contact with him and Theodore. I'm sorry, Gabe Wood. Gabe Wood, not Campbell. Gabe Wood. My bad, guys.
But they recover and they stay in the order that they were in, but drops them back from that pack that's running 2nd to 4th.
Man, that car right turned into the wall. The car, Gabe Wood, that right front going to definitely be hurting on the machine. He's got some right rear damage as well. Wow. Oh, and he's in the wall again. That car is really hurt. Theodore's going to come around, take the spot. And here comes Bonwell, Sam.
Yeah, I think Wood is just yielding these at this point. He might put up a bit of a fight against Bonwell. Yep, he's going to do that. Oh, Bonwell gets a piece of a wall. That's the first time we've seen that today. Been looking around at all the Darlington stripes put on this wall. I didn't see any of that orange-yellow stuff out there.
The paint crew is going to be very busy tonight, Sam. And battle for second is still intense. Is Davis trying to hang on here, Sam, for a few more laps? Clewell's still chasing. Clewell's really got to worry about Cammer, though. Cammer seems to have come on late here. Could make things difficult for Mark.
Will Davis once again bouncing off the walls. Might have had a bit too much sugar before this race. 3 laps left to go in this stage. Meanwhile, give a shout out to Mark McFadden. He's been able to stay only one lap down during this stint, so he should get the lucky dog when we get our stage 2 caution here in just a couple laps time and get back on the lead lap.
It's a good job by McFadden in this this second stage, Sam. He definitely took care of his business there.
All right, there's one lap left for Mark Clewell to take care of business. Gerald Campbell's pretty much sealed the deal on this stage. He's got almost a 2-second lead over this battle for second. Will Davis has almost thrown away second place multiple times. Even if he's able to hold on ahead of Mark Clewell, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that 11 car sitting in the pits for a little while at the end of this stage to get some repairs. Right now, it could just be about bragging rights. Which one is going to come home in second to finish stage number 2? Davis has it. Clewell wants it, I'm sure, but how aggressive will he be about taking it?
Gonna get one last chance here, Sam.
Not gonna happen. Campbell first, Davis second, Clewell, Kammer, Theodore, Wood, Bonwell, Galgan, Barnes, and Eisenhower round out the top 10 as the yellow flies.
Boy, Sam, another really solid stage. I said it earlier, these drivers have shown up focused this evening. They know they have an opportunity here with a small field to really make some big gains.
I have a feeling crunch time for the championship also starting to make these drivers be a bit more careful with their cars. Think about how they're going to attack the final several rounds of the season. And it's still hard to say who our winner's going to be, because even though Campbell and Davis, in their own unique ways, were able to control the field through stage 2, both of them have a bit of damage, and it'll be interesting to see as they come your way, Nicholas, if any of them stay in their pit stall to get that repaired.
Yeah, guys, really exciting stage 2 there. They were driving it like it was the end of stage 3. Gerald Campbell, I'm sure he loved having that lead, but I think he's going to love these 4 fresh Goodyear tires a lot more, along with everyone else coming down here. Clean stops, very important. You don't want to lose track position. Like we just saw in the last 10 laps, really only one big pass, and that was John Theodore getting around Gabe Wood, and he had to Wood had to go in the wall for that to happen.
Alright, so here come the cars hitting their pit stalls. It looks like our leaders hit theirs okay. So let's, well, Gabe Wood, I can tell you for sure, he overshot his pit stall. That's going to cost a 00 sometimes. So definitely things falling apart. Here comes the race off pit road. Will Davis take it?
Yeah.
It's going to be Campbell up front, but if Mark Clewell in second and Will Davis, I believe, got third there.
And Davis dropping back a little bit. Raced so hard to hold on the second ahead of Clewell during stage 2. He's not going to be able to keep it there. So some cars still in the pits getting repairs, including the 00 of Gabe Wood. Hopefully we don't see any of our leaders come back in and top off here. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So let's take a quick break here on the GSRC, because we're sure this final stage is about to get exciting and a bit dicey. The restart should be coming in just a couple of moments. We'll be back in there for it. Hello and welcome back to Darlington Raceway, where we are getting set for the third and final stage of the Sim Speed Shop 200. So far, incident-free here on this egg-shaped speedway, at least as far as the flag man has been concerned. However, some of the drivers out here definitely earning their Darlington stripes today. That has led to lengthy pit stops for many drivers, most notably right now, Gabe Wood, who dominated the opening stage of the race and is sitting all the way back in 12th place. All 13 cars that started this race still running, still on the lead lap, and it's Gerald Campbell and Mark Clerwell about to lead them back to green. Campbell on the low side in the 6, Clerwell on the high side in the 65. All of these drivers cannot make it to the end on fuel. What's about to happen? Let's find out. And what happened there, Sean, was a nice launch off the line from that number 6 McDonald's machine. Campbell, and here comes Davis again.
Davis fighting really hard on that start.
And it works. He gets second place back. That's where he entered the pits. It's not where he came off the pits, but it's where he runs now in that number 11 machine. So, Campbell, Davis, Clerwell, battle on for fourth between Theodore and Kammer. And this is the highest we've seen Bonwell running today. He's looking for fifth. Not going to happen yet, though. Kammer holds down that top 5 spot ahead of Bonwell, Barnes, Dalgan, Adam Eisenhower, and here comes Gabe Wood, fresh after getting some repairs on his double naught machine, looking for P9 under the 86 machine.
Campbell took a stab at the lead here, Sam.
Yeah, Campbell has lost the lead to Will Davis, so we got a new leader here. The number 11, Will Davis, now leading the way around Darlington Raceway. The first lead change we have seen on track today, Sean, but I'm not sure it's going to be the last one because the 6 is all over the back of the 11, and let's not forget, one stage 2 by a couple of seconds clear off of Davis. Now, we're not sure why, but Davis was far off the pace during the opening stage of the race. I think he was having maybe even connection issues, or maybe got on the wall or something, but he was far back and he's gradually worked his way up. Now, at the very back, well, we ride on board here, but I can tell you, Jeremy Crandall's just came into the pits. He knocked the wall down pretty hard out of turn 2, last lap around. It could be day done for the 73.
And the battle for fourth is heating up here just a bit. Theodore on the outside. There's the 88 down below, and he's going to have to relent there, try and get back in line.
The intensity definitely picking up between the leaders as we enter the final 60 laps of this event. Boy, things tight here from third on back. Things tight from the lead, and there's contact.
Oh.
There's Kammer, who's slowed up. Bonwell.
Yeah, we got a replay of this, Sam. Nice save here for Kyle Kammer. And a great job by Josh Bonwell. You're going to see the 56 here. He could have tried to run right through him. Instead, Bonwell gets out of the throttle, maybe even on the binders just a little bit, and avoids turning Kammer all the way around. What a great piece of work by both of those drivers.
Unfortunately, not only does it send those two back, it breaks up that good pack we had going on. We've still got a great battle raging on for the lead, though, with Davis only just holding it by about 1/10 of a second over the 6 car. Nick, it looks like we are down to 12 cars now, and almost down to 11 there, as Campbell got a big piece of a wall coming off of 4. Nick.
Yeah, guys, Jeremy Crandall came down pit road. He was only there for a couple of seconds until I think he saw that time length for damage repairs and decided to send it behind the wall. Action back out on track 6, just got into the wall again.
Thought you were meant to respect the lady in black, Sean. A few of the drivers, I think, racing the other cars a bit too hard today and forgetting to respect the boundaries of Darlington Raceway.
It's a total lack of respect, Sam. And that's exactly what it is. And, the lady is not happy because of it. And we said earlier, the paint team going to be very, very busy. In fact, we probably gathered enough stripes out here to make our own American flag, Sam.
Well, we certainly got a bit more red paint because Davis just got a piece of wall coming off of turn 4, and Campbell going to edge him to the line to complete lap 95 in the lead. But who will have the lead now? The high line working to Davis' advantage through turns 1 and 2. Now, at how much has this hurt Campbell? Because Clewell's now all over the back of him for second. Boy, this is so reminiscent of what we saw at Bristol, Sean, where we saw a lot of drivers bouncing off a wall, but because it was a high groove track, it meant that no one could pass them because even though they were in the wall, they still had that desired high line.
Yeah, I was sitting here just, maybe 3 minutes ago thinking to myself, this is starting to mirror the Bristol race just a little bit. Campbell really searching for a better line right now, and we don't know how much trouble that right front damage is actually causing him, but you can see him kind of moving around, trying to put the car in different spots. I think he is really trying to measure up Will Davis here, and it might be just a matter of a few laps here before we see Campbell try and make the move on him. Maybe Campbell waits until after the pit stop. We know they're going to need at least one here, Sam, to get this race done.
And honestly, Sean, they could do that in the next couple of laps if they think it's going to go green to the end. Some of them may elect to come in early and get 4 fresh good years on, try and get some laps out there, Dr. Phil Goods, and get some good times down. What does our pit reporter think down there? Nicholas, do you think anyone's going to attempt a short pit here in the next couple of laps?
Honestly, I think they're going to have to if they want a shot to win this thing. I don't see a lot of on-track passing happening. I think if you're in that third and on back, I think they're going to try a short pit here.
I did see one pass there as Campbell really lost out exit in turn number 4, and that allowed Mark Clewell to move back up into second position. And that was Bonwell back there losing the position to Carl Kemmer. Those are the two that tangled not too long ago, now running 8th and 9th. So pit window is open. These drivers can pit and make it to the end on fuel. Obviously, you run the risk that if you pit now, you're not going to be on the lead lap. But this race has had such a green flag feel to it, Sean. I feel that you could maybe afford to gamble. But we have seen in various SSCA events throughout the year that stages 1 and 2 have been run pretty much clean and green, and it's stage 3 where every now and then we do see the yellow flag.
Well, Sam, we had a discussion about this in the pre-race about the chances of not seeing much yellow laundry this evening, and well, they haven't tried to bring it out, to be honest with you. Yeah, we've had some close moments, and guys have hit the wall. They've been doing that all night. Everybody does that at Darlington. But, man, I'm telling you what, this has been one spectacular piece of driving from this field this evening.
Gerald Campbell losing a position to John Theodore on screen there for 3rd place. Now, this is interesting, Sean. We've seen a lot of leaders hit the wall today, and elect to come in the pits and get repairs. Notably, of course, from that list has been Gabe Wood, who's currently running back end 6th. Gerald Campbell has not been one of those drivers. He's hit the wall, but he's elected to stay out, or at least have quick stops, not sit in his pit box for any repairs, and I think it's costing him time now. And up front, Clewell has just taken the lead from Will Davis. Did Davis have well, he just hit the wall down in turns 1 and 2. It's Davis burned the good years off of his machine. Here's a replay. Davis was leading at this point. And then all of a sudden he wasn't leading anymore. Well, couple, and once again Davis almost grazing the wall in turns 1 and 2. Is this a sign that the number 11 might want to play the strategy card? Let's not forget, bonus points on the line if we do see one of our playoff contenders win this race tonight, Sean.
Well, somebody's got to win, right, Sam? No, listen, never has there been a pit stop more important than the one coming up. You better get it right. Oh, Will Davis with trouble again. Davis was in the wall. Theodore now all over his bumper.
Now, I wonder if Davis selects to stay out, could Theodore be a potential driver that come into the pits? Because Theodore hasn't led the race at all today. These drivers are now 1.5 seconds back of Clewell. So Clewell can afford to play some games if he so wishes out front up there.
Well, as long as he doesn't play any games that result in wrecking the car, Sam, you're right. He's got some options available to him here at the moment. And, he continues to open the lead here a little bit more every lap.
And knocking on wood, Sean, while most of the drivers are out here today knocking on safer barriers, we'll be knocking on wood for Mark Clewell. He's been one of the fastest drivers out there today, obviously leading now, that I don't think we've seen hit the wall yet.
And Campbell gets a piece of it again, too. Again, we get later into this run and more cars really struggling. Barnes now struggling. He's down on the apron. Nope. I think he's coming in for a pit stop.
All right, so here's your first drive of the bike, Nicholas.
Yeah, Kyle Barnes coming down. Sure, he's going to want to get some more tires on that thing. Make it last. He's going to have to make it last just a little longer than he did in stage 1 and 2, with over 40 laps to go. He doesn't have too much damage to get repaired, so it should be a nice clean stop if he can put it right in the middle of the box. Yep, Cameron's coming down pit road as well. He does a lot of rear damage.
And now here comes Gerald Campbell.
I think one of the guys that was most relieved to be able to put tires on this car, Gerald Campbell, falling back there in the beginning part of this third stage. Saw him get up into the wall a couple times. I'm sure he's going to want to put some fresh tires on that thing and get back out on there and try to gain some of that lost position.
Now, of course, those of you watching the Southern 500 recently will know the dangers that this field is about to run into now that Ryan Newman ran into a little while ago, and that's the difference in speed out there between the drivers on new tyres trying to hot lap it and the drivers on old tyres trying to baby their tyres and also make their way the pit road safely. Will Davis coming in, but boy, he committed to pit road very early. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost some time doing that.
Campbell is back out on track. I see Mark McFadden coming in. Campbell rolls back out on track with nobody around him. A really nice, safe exit there.
Yeah, guys, Will Davis down here right now. He was all over the track in the last 5 or 10 laps. Tires must be shot on that Camaro there. Looks like a pretty clean stop so far. Sure, it's going to feel nice under his feet there to get some nice Goodyears on that thing.
And Clewell responds. Mark Clewell sees his competition from behind him coming into the pits, so he elects to come in now. And it will be interesting to see if he is able to come out as the first driver who has made their final stop when he is done.
I wonder how long Theodore is going to ride up front here and try and hold on to this. I gotta imagine at this point you really start thinking about, I better do what everybody else has done. If I stay out here much longer, I'm going to lose a ton of time. In fact, I was just watching Kyle Barnes. He got around Trey Galgan, past Galgan like he was standing still. That's the difference in the fresh tires here.
And Galgan recognizes that because the 49 is now into the pits.
Yeah, Trey Galligan down in here at the pits. He's looking for another clean stop. Haven't heard a lot of him tonight. He just he's had a quiet night in the back half of the top 10.
Boy, it looks like Clewell lost out by staying out on the track just a couple of laps longer. Kyle Barnes, one of the first to pit, leads the drivers who made their pit stops already, but not by much over. Gerald Campbell is right behind him, and then comes Gabe Wood, and then comes Mark Clewell. But even just those extra couple of laps advantage that Clewell is going to have on those drivers ahead of him, Sean, could pay dividends late on in the race.
Sam, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We're seeing now you've got Eisenhower and Theodore, the only two left out here that are extending this run. Judd Danielson just came in. He peeled off from third place. Now Theodore's making his way down, Sam.
Yeah, and Adam Eisenhower, you may have seen him. He was the driver really getting in the wall in turns 1 and 2 last time around, but he elects to stay out and lead another, well, actually lead his first lap of the day in the 86 machine.
John Theodore down on pit road right now, about to come into his box. He's looking for a really clean stop. He's been one of the top 5 performing cars tonight. He's got a real shot to win this thing if he can get back out there on fresh tires.
It's funny to hear he has a real shot at winning this thing, and you see the right front damage on that car and go, how?
Yeah, exactly.
How? How is he going to win this? Please explain. Yeah, now that car is still obviously handling well enough there, Nick.
Yeah, and he just as an added bonus got a little bit of damage repaired there.
Campbell got the wall in turn 1, and he was sliding all the way through the turn. It has cost him a lot of time. It may almost cost him a position, Gabe Wood.
Remember that fast race car that Gabe Wood had in this race in the first segment, Sam?
It's back.
It's back, isn't it? And he's still got over 30 laps. Oh, no! Whoa! Ooh, got in a bit too hot there.
Yeah, I was trying to make a pass move on Gerald Campbell, knowing that Campbell had lost his momentum, maybe even a bit of handling after knocking the wall down last lap around. Adam Eisenhower still leads this race, but has yet to pit. So Kyle Barnes is in second. But let's not forget, Kyle Barnes was able to leapfrog his way up there by being one of the first to pit. His tyres, if we go green to the end, his tyres are going to be shot by the end of this set.
McFadden getting out of the way there, down on the bottom. Watching Kyle Barnes there make his charge.
Wood getting another run at Campbell, but he's not going to do anything about it this time around.
Boy, you know, if Barnes can keep his car out of the wall, Sam, you know, I don't know. I don't know if they've got the speed or the car to get up there to him.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that Adam Eisenhower is leading this race, and let's not count him out yet, because I'd almost say give it about another 5 laps. Well, let's see. Ike would have pitted at the end of the second stage around lap 80. He can probably go about another 10 more laps. That's what he's looking for, Sean, because if a caution comes out about 10 laps from now, he'll be leading still, and everyone's going to pit.
Man, You know what? His strategy's great, no problem. But the fight going on right now between Campbell and Wood is starting to reach legendary status here, Sam. Wood trying to pick him apart, but Gerald Campbell just not having any of it here so far.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen bits of this throughout the season. We haven't really seen these two drivers who have definitely been 2 stars of this season go at it, hammer and tons for a race win and finish first and second yet any races here. No, Gabe Wood came up short at Charlotte, but that was to Richard Regan Jr., I believe that was. Here, though, Wood looking, this didn't work last time he attempted it. He doesn't much enough to drop of it, and into the wall goes Campbell.
Let's open the door for Clewell here. Clewell's got a shot, Sam.
And Clewell is a driver who hasn't won at all this season. And he is definitely showing today, and we emphasised the significance of this being a speedway race a bit early on in the broadcast. As we take a look at replay here, we emphasise the significance early on in the broadcast of wanting to prove tonight that you're a strong speedway performer, and Mark Clewell is trying to get his name back into this mix-up here, so that everyone's on the lookout for that number 65 machine in the final 4 races. But he's into the side of Campbell right now. Clewell will sideways down the track. Will Davis is going to capitalise on that contact and pass them both.
Well, that's officially as close as we've been to a caution flag tonight, Sam, besides the ends of the segments.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of that because we were just coming back from the previous replay. Campbell got in the wall. We've saw that multiple times today. And Clewell tried to capitalise on that. That ended poorly. And Will Davis said, thank you very much, and picked off 2 positions. Adam Eisenhower still leads by 13 seconds in closing. The more significant number to him, though, is lap 127. He is running out of fuel, and that means this battle between Kyle Barnes and Gabe Wood could very soon be the battle for the win, and there's contact between them sideways.
Hang on it, Barnes. Hang on it. No, he's in the wall. Oh, no, and Will Davis hits him hard.
That will bring out our first caution for the incident of the day, and this is great news for Adam Eisenhower.
Boy, and Gabe Wood was closing on Will Davis, sir. I'm sorry, on Kyle Barnes here, real quick. Maybe too quick. Couldn't slow down his run. Couldn't or wouldn't. Either way, it winds up in Barnes going around, and the car takes an evil hook back to the right. And when he bounces off, and you're going to see Will Davis going by, clips him, sends him into that wild spin. He's able to right the ship.
And this will probably send Gabe Wood to the back as well for triggering an incident.
He's going to have to get back to work now.
Everyone coming in, Nicholas. Great news for Adam Eisenhower.
Yeah, when Adam Eisenhower saw that yellow tablecloth being displayed, I'm sure he was grinning ear to ear. He's got a real shot at winning this now, and he's going to bring the whole field on down here. Everyone down here going to need a clean stop. Not so sure this would be considered the money stop. That would be assuming we didn't have another caution after this.
Well, Nick, welcome to the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, where sometimes we may see a caution over the last several laps of a race. And guess what? The best part about it is we'll get one chance to get a checkered flag here at the end with a green-white checker, Sam.
John Theodore and Kyle Barnes stay out on track. Doesn't make sense for Barnes to stay out on track. He was involved in that incident pretty nastily. And even John Theodore on the old tyres at a track where tyres are so valuable, he'll have a clean air and he'll have control of the field on the restart. But yeah, here comes Barnes, Gabe Wood, and here comes Theodore too.
Theodore's
Yeah, and Gabe Wood is being penalised. So Adam Eisenhower and Gerald Campbell will lead the field back to green.
John Theodore and Kyle Barnes down here on pit road are going to relinquish that lead there to Adam Eisenhower. Theodore and Barnes, two guys that have been all up in the action tonight. Looking for one last good stop here. Try to put him in a good position out there.
Better be a perfect one. Looks like everybody hit their mark there, Nick.
Yeah, they look pretty decent so far. It's going to be the race off pit road here. They came down not side by side, but just about a car length apart. John Theodore sliding out of the box just a little bit. He's not going to cost him any time, though. He's going to win that race off pit road.
And worth noting that even though this isn't going to put these guys that far back in the order, because there's only 11 cars on the lead lap, it's been so hard to pass here really today, at least to pass cleanly.
Boy, the passes have been few and far between, Sam. We talked about it in the pre-race. I mean, this is definitely a hard place. In fact, Nick brought that up during his little piece of strategy there in the pre-race show about how just incredibly hard it is to get a pass completed on this track. I mean, how long did we see, who was that? Was it Gerald Campbell try to get around, was he fighting with Will Davis earlier? I mean, again, it's just been impossible to pull it off cleanly and make it stick. So we're going to restart here with what, maybe 17 laps left to go, Sam? You better be brave. No, 18 laps to go. As the lights are off on the pace car, we're ready to rock and roll.
Adam Eisenhower will lead the field back to green. It's always easy to question the decision to stay out on old tyres. This is why drivers who are running back there, sometimes not having the best of races, this is why they play that strategy call for an opportunity like this to present itself. It has worked perfectly for the 86 machine. Even if he doesn't win this race, it could result in a higher finishing position than what he would have had earlier. That being said, I'm sure Adam would love to pull off the victory here today, much like he did to open the season at Daytona. All right, pace car getting ready to make a hard turn. What about Mark Clewell on the outside? He's looking for his first win. Actually, Gerald Campbell dropped far back in the field. I failed to mention that, but Adam Eisenhower leading them back under green. Clewell in second, Will Davis third, Carl Kemmer in fourth, rounding out the top five right now, Josh Bonwell as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Nice jump by Ike.
Boy, Trey Galgan was really slow coming off of turn 2, and a little bit of contact from behind made there by Gerald Campbell. Gabe Wood's under him right now.
Yes, Campbell far back there all of a sudden. First time today, I would say. And as we click off an extra lap with Eisenhower in front, things were getting a bit dicey for second. The 86 doing what he needs to do as they come down the back straight. Things fanning out at the back. Oh, very slow. Judd Danielson, he's a couple laps down, just trying to get out the way there. And here comes the blast for the lead, down the front straight. Mark Clewell taking it to the low side and into the wall goes Adam Eisenhower.
He's got it. He's got it. He saved it. Eisenhower's still trying to save it, Sam.
So there'll be no caution as he uses all of the apron.
And going by him, there was... Jeez. We've got a replay. Look at the replay.
Yeah, so we'll watch what happens to Ike here, but then as he's able to recover the vehicle, we'll go to the other driver involved in that incident, Mark Clewell, who was making the pass for the lead, because all this meant Clewell didn't get off turn 2 very well, and that handed the lead over to Will Davis. But very nice racing there by driving there by Adam Eisenhower to keep it going. Definitely a strategy gamble that looked like it would pay off. Unfortunately, just going to fall a little bit short here today. Will Davis, our leader, in the wall. Clewell into the back of him. That's why you don't tailgate, kids. Kyle Kemmer. Boy, Kyle Kemmer was trying to make that one work. Clewell
Bonwell
gets
keeping
turned
the
by
Clewell.
Bonwell.
And that's going to bring out a caution flag, I think.
No, single car
Nothing
incident
yet.
and it's off the racing line. I think they might keep it clean. That's very unfortunate for Clewell, a driver who has redocumented. And there's trouble on the front straight. Bonwell and Wood into the wall. They're still going though, still pointing in the right direction. Things getting a little bit ugly. We stay green though as they keep going the right way.
Wow. Big things happening. Campbell's going to get around Eisenhower real quick. We're watching this replay here of Wood's incident.
Yeah, this is almost like watching what happened to Craven and Kurt Busch after the finish line once, where they were kind of sliding across the line, both in the wall. Unfortunately for these two, it's not the final lap. The race is still going on around them. So, a lot just happened is an understatement.
Yes.
Let's give you the race rundown. It's Will Davis in the lead by a couple of tenths over Carl Kemmer, John Theodore in third. Those are the only three who have really escaped from this without losing any time, because they've got 3.5 seconds over the driver in fourth, who's Trey Gelgan. Nice battle for fifth going on right now. Gerald Campbell just won that over Kyle Barnes. And Adam Eisenhower is recovered from his drift into seventh. And then rounding out the top 10 is Bonwell, Wood, and McFadden is actually holding down 10th place.
On the lead lap too, Sam. We remember earlier. Oh no! Contact back there. It was Bonwell in the wall. He got hit from behind by Gabe Wood. And you can see the rear end, boy, a lot of rear end damage on Bonwell's car right now.
No incident limit for these drivers, by the way. Probably a good thing. I think a few of these drivers would have gone over it otherwise by now.
We might be on the limit. Sam.
Yeah, Will Davis leading this race right now, but the last time we saw him leading, he wasn't able to keep it clean, and if he gets into the wall again, we saw earlier, Kyle Kemmer is not afraid to try and take advantage of that.
Not afraid to send it, Sam?
Absolutely not, and I'm looking here in the statistics. Surprising that John Theodore running in third place, and as for that matter, Carl Kemmer in second place. Neither of those drivers have picked up a win yet this season. They'd love to do that, but they're scrapping for second.
Yeah, it's a bad entry there for Theodore. He's not going to win that battle with coming in that low into the turn, unfortunately. He scuffed off a lot of speed there.
7.5 laps left to go. Will Davis just needs to avoid the wall, but we've been... Oh, and contact for second this time. Theodore into the back of Kemmer as they were going through turn 4.
Will Davis better mind his own business up there. Take care of that car here over the last few laps, Sam. Or, well, okay, just about 6. More than a few.
Half a second is the advantage for Davis. He's just got to look in his mirror and realise these two are battling for second. They're not worried about him right now. Well, they are worried about him, but they're not behaving that way. They're racing each other more than they are trying to run the leader down. And Davis, as long as he can keep our 11 machine out of a wall, I think he's going to be okay here.
Well, unless something else goes wrong on track and we get to that green-white checker. Here comes Theodore to the inside of Kemmer. Trying to get it done in 3. He clears him. Kemmer going to try and cross him over here, Sam.
Yes, not what Theodore wants at all. Theodore has really got to try and throw it into turn 1 here if he wants a chance of breaking away from that 88 machine and running our race leader down. Half a second, still separate them with less than 5 laps to go. Remember, a caution will not end this race. This race will end under green.
Kemmer with a big run there. Too big. He had to get on the binders and slow her down.
And that is really good news for John Theodore. Not only is he allowed to break away from Kemmer, but he ran a 1/10 of a second faster last lap than Will Davis. With less than 4 laps left to go, the 27 is coming. Will Davis, a quiet opening stage to the race. Stage 2, he navigated his way up towards the front. Stage number 3, he now finds himself leading the race with 3 laps to left to go. What about John Theodore? He is no stranger to the running in the top 5. He is no stranger to the running side by side with other cars, mixing it up on strategy a little bit. It hasn't paid off with a win for him so far this season. I'm sure he's came close a few times. He's definitely coming close this time, because with 2 laps left to go, the 27 car is definitely, I would say, one of the fastest cars on track. And now, as they cross the line with 2 laps left to go, it is 0.3 of a second the gap. Just 8 more turns for Theodore to find a way by Will Davis and try and get his first win of the year.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Will Davis just had an incredible race. Once we got past that first segment, like you mentioned, Sam, done it with the damage on the right front throughout, and the car still seems to be handling well enough. John Theodore, interestingly enough, Sam, here we go, white flag, has really driven one of the best lines all night. He's been one of the smoothest drivers out here. Can he do it?
Hell, he's running a smooth line right now, but so is Davis. We said it's Davis's race to lose in these final few laps, and he has not lost it. The number 11, 2 wins in 3 races. Boy, this is a driver looking forward to Homestead, because Will Davis picks off another win here tonight at Darlington ahead of Theodore Kammer. Wow. And a nice drive by the number 11 machine. Boy, it got rough here today at Darlington, Sean. Lots of paint work for the crews to do, but I think the 11 has got some tyres he'd like to burn down on the front straight here, and well deserved.
Well deserved indeed, Sam. What a race here from Darlington Raceway. Boy, they really put on a great show for us tonight. 1 caution, Sam. 1 official damage caution. That's it.
Well, we'll have a chance to talk to all of our top finishers and give you a full race rundown in just a couple of moments here on the GSRC. Don't forget, open wheel fans, coming up in just a few moments. The Lionheart IndyCar Series will be racing, the GSRC broadcast, which will be broadcast over on the iRacing Esports channel. So check those out once we're done here. We're going to take a quick break. We will return in just a moment here at Darlington Raceway.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel and the completion as we get ready for the results here of this race. The SimSpeedShop.com 200 a night from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. Folks, a great race this evening. Sam has left the booth and is going to strap in his IndyCar, and I'm going to take us home here with the race results. Will Davis, your big winner tonight. Well, as we kept talking about, he was really quiet in that first segment, but comes on strong there in the last two segments and wins this thing tonight. John Theodore, who was out there battling all night, comes up a little bit short there at the end, but does get a podium finish in second. Kyle Kammer, he was in the middle of it all night, and Kammer even sent it deep a few times and still survives for third place. Gerald Campbell, best he could manage there at the end was a fourth place run. Trey Galgan had a good night, fifth place finish for him. Kyle Barnes, sixth. Could have been more for Barnes, but damage on the car really hurt him there in the end. Gabe Wood, same deal really, and that end of line penalty there really hurt him late. So seventh place there for Gabe. Josh Bonwell with an eighth place finish. Adam Eisenhower at one point looked like might have a shot to win this race. He finishes ninth. Mark McFadden will finish 10th, and we'll drop on to Mark Clewell in 11th tonight for the number 65. Obviously, trouble there late for him. Ends a spectacular run and a chance to win the race. Judd Danielson, couple laps down in 12th. Jeremy Crandall, he had trouble earlier on in the race and left us, put the car behind the wall there in 13th. And Don Stewart, he never got started tonight. So Donald Stewart, with his one and only chance to get to the second round of the playoffs, does not make it to the grid and does not race. So there you go. There's your finish for all 14 drivers. Now let's try and catch up with the winner here. Will Davis, they're partying in the pits here in Darlington. Will, congratulations.
Hey, I appreciate it. That was tough, man. That was hard.
Okay, so it was hard because it's Darlington, obviously. What else made it really challenging tonight? Yeah,
that's pretty much why I think I hit the wall at least a dozen times. I feel like I hit the right front, getting the dog in strike. So yeah, and it's so hard to pass here. It's so tight. You really got to be aggressive at the right times, and it's just tough, real tough.
So after the first time you hit that wall, Will, what does it do to the handling of the car? Did you notice any difference in the handling, or was it maybe after about that second or third wrap that you noticed a difference?
Yeah, the first one doesn't really, unless you hit it hard, you really don't notice it. But you keep on hitting it, I feel like the car keeps getting tighter and tighter. And obviously here, that's what you do not want to happen because it's already too tight coming off, seems like. So yeah, the more you hit it, the tighter it gets. So it's just harder and harder.
How was the racetrack, the temperature conditions, and just the grip or the lack thereof it out there? How was it?
The track felt good. Turn 3 and 4 is more in the shade, so it had a little bit more grip. I felt like 1 and 2 was pretty greasy. I know you really carry a lot of speed in 1 and 2, but after a few laps, your tires start to wear, so you really got to start backing up the corners and taking it easy. But the track was a lot of fun. You know, obviously one's in the shade and one's in the sun, so you got to be prepared for both. All
right. Everybody wants to know what happened in the first segment. Was it just too hard to make a pass? Were you just being patient? Give us the story.
I was having some issues with my internet, honestly. And, yeah, I kept making mistakes. I couldn't get in a rhythm. I had Gary Sexton in my ear trying to calm me down and keep me level-headed. And finally, I got my head screwed on straight and kind of started putting some laps together and get a feel for it. But it honestly took the whole first session to finally get a feel for it.
All right, well, it's nice, though, Gary was on the box for you this evening, but trust me, you deserve all the credit here, Will. You had to drive that car, and you had to finish 150 laps here at Darlington. You did it with a win. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick before we let you go?
Yeah, thank y'all for obviously doing this and putting on a good show. Thank my smoking hot wife for letting me do this, and my family for watching, my mom, my father-in-law, and all the fans we got. I appreciate y'all.
All right, that's Will Davis. I just love it. He just thanked his smoking hot wife. That is greatness right there. We should all have a smoking hot wife. Nick is caught up with our second-place finisher tonight, John Theodore.
Yeah, John Theodore only going to be coming back about 0.4 of a second from that first win on the season. John, we really thought you might be able to chase down Will there in the last couple of laps. How was that in the last 5 or 10 laps trying to chase him down?
It was tense, man. I was trying everything I could. Just if for whatever reason, like I was gaining on him, and then I got by Hammer, and then once I got by camera, it was like Will just started running a really perfect line. I don't know if I used up the tires trying to run them down or what it was, but for whatever reason it was, I stalled out at like 4/10 back and couldn't get any closer.
Yeah, not easy at all to make a pass. We were watching that all throughout the field all night. You were battling real hard there the whole race. You had an up and down race, but especially there in stage 2, I noticed with the 00 car. How many moments were you sideways or looking right at the wall tonight where you thought, well, this is the end of my race?
Not too many. I mean, my strategy, which had I committed to this strategy in a little bit better in stage 1, my strategy was to just keep the car clean through the first 2 stages and try to have the cleanest car at the end of the race, because I know how Darlington chews up race cars. Messed up with that in stage 1, took the repairs, and I'm glad I did, because the rest of the race I kept it pretty clean. Battling with Gabe in stage 2 was crazy. I felt bad about clipping him. I had a run to the outside. I tried to take it. He moved up. I noticed that he was moving up. I didn't want to get squeezed and have us both wrecked, so I tried to back out of it. And in the process of doing that, I just barely clipped the rear end of his car, so I felt bad about that. But definitely felt like a racing deal. But definitely felt my race flashing before my eyes there as I was lifting out. I was like, that was tense. And then kind of shot myself in the foot. I don't know, a couple times in this race. Hitting the wall in stage 1 hurt me with track position, because if I wouldn't have done that, I could have been out in front to start stage 2, and I think I would have been able to hold the lead if I would have been in control of the race. Stage 3, with everyone short pitting, that just kind of didn't play to my hand, but then I didn't realize that the pits were open, so I put myself back further than I should have been on that final restart, and then I just tried to drive the wheels off of it for the end there and get everything I could.
Yeah, definitely a crazy night for everyone tonight. You're sitting nicely in the points. Obviously, you're moving on to the next stage. How you feeling going into Indianapolis?
Indy is not my best track, so I'm definitely going to try to get some practice in these cars in it for next week. But I feel like I'm capable of making it to Homestead, either with picking up a win or, just pointing my way through the next round with consistent races like I did in this round. Obviously, they've got to be really good finishes since I have no playoff points to lean on. But, I'm just going to go out there like I've been doing the whole season, try to get the best finish I can each race, pile up the stage points as much as I can, and, we'll see how things shake out.
Yeah, man, sounds like a plan. Anyone you want to give a thank you or a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, a little shout out to Gary Sexton. He's the one who did the paint scheme. I actually had a throwback scheme in mind that I wanted to run, but I forgot to put the banner on there. Shout out as well to a couple of my viewers, Warren D, for all the cheers tonight, and let's see, Daryl, and I think I had one more sub tonight if I can find it. Assault Maniac for the subs. Really appreciate that. Sorry if I missed anyone on that. But my viewers are definitely what makes all this fun, so I always like to give a shout out to them.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Have a good night. Hope to see you next week right back at it at Indianapolis.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I will be there. See you then.
All right, and Nick, great interview there, but it's time to talk to the last driver on the podium, Kyle Kammer. Brother, you were sending that car deep every chance you had it, and you get yourself a third-place finish. How you feeling right now because of that?
Man, that was wild. I don't know how many times I was almost wrecked sideways, halfway around, or whatever. It was a lot of fun, man. We were just letting it all hang out tonight and seeing what we could do with it.
Well, Kyle, what was the most challenging part of this race for you tonight?
Saving the right front tire was the most challenging part for me. I didn't do myself any favors by about taking down the wall on the second lap of the race, and then the car really tightened up, and I just could not do anything with the right front. Yeah.
Yeah, Will had said his car was already tight enough, and as soon as he knocked down the wall once, it tightened up even more. What do you do to compensate for that when it gets that tight, Kyle?
Yeah, you gotta lift a little bit earlier and be a lot smoother with your inputs. But man, I just felt like I was constantly trying to make up all the track position that I lost. That I just didn't have the discipline to back it up or anything. I was just sending it in every time, especially turn 3, just driving real hard in the entry.
Kyle, how does a driver from the Indiana club feel about heading to Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
It's real exciting. Having the Cup guys here last weekend was a great time. I'm looking forward to it. I really feel bad for Mark Clewell tonight, my teammate. He had a great car. I think he probably had the best car on the long run, and the way things worked out for him at the end, that was just really disappointing.
It was disappointing for all of us, Kyle. Thanks for the shout out there. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, all of my teammates over at Aegis, Andrew Freenars, David Washington, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhard, Eric Stanford, Ross Cato, James Ross, Mark Clewell. All those guys, a great group of guys to hang out with, learn a lot from. And then, of course, my sponsors, Box Crush and Interstate Batteries.
Well, listen, Kyle, a great race this evening. We'll see you next time. Travel safe, my friend, and take care.
Thanks. I hope we were entertaining, if nothing else, tonight.
Very, indeed. A great green flag racing at the Lady in Black, and you don't get that much. But that's Kyle Kammer, and tell you what, Nick has got one more interview lined up here, actually. He is caught up with Gerald Campbell. So I'm sorry, thought we were bringing my bad, Trey Galgan. Can't remember who we're bringing in. All right, there we go. So Nick is caught up with Trey. Go.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, honored to interview a fellow Pennsylvanian here. Love to see all those PA club drivers out there. But Trey, you had a pretty quiet night, but you're going to come home in a very solid top 5. What was it like out there, watching all the madness unfold in front of you?
Well, it was very tough out there tonight. Hit the wall about 26 times, probably even more than that. Definitely earned my Darlington stripe tonight, but the madness in front of me started really near the end of that race when Wood got into the wall and Campbell got in the wall. They got in the wall exactly, probably at the exact same time, and I was able to capitalize on that, on their mistakes, and come out with a decent finish here tonight.
Yeah, hey, 26 times only in the wall, 150 laps. That's a pretty good record in my opinion for tonight. So how are you feeling going into Indianapolis next week? A lot different of a track than what we've had tonight.
I feel a little confident going into Indy next week because it's going to be a much wider racetrack. It's going to be a little tough to pass in turns, but if we just keep it clean next week and just do what we have to do, I think we'll be solid going in next week.
Yeah, well, you're a part of fun to watch tonight, as everyone was. I want to give a shout out to anyone or thank you before we let you go tonight.
I'll give a shout out to my sponsor, Copper Hill Public House. They sponsored the car all season long, so I'd like to shout them out and thank you guys for broadcasting the race.
Awesome. Should be a blast to see you in the next round of 8. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
All right, and our thanks to all the drivers tonight. Nick, stand-up job this evening. Thanks for coming in and working with us this evening.
No problem. It's been a blast.
Yeah, and that race was a blast. But listen, we want to thank our great sponsor, SimSpeedShop.com. Remember, folks, they're a great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, please go to SimSpeedShop.com. Guess what? They're on Twitter and Facebook if you want to connect with them there too. Look them up. Now, we'd also like to thank all the organizers and competitors of the Simulated Stock Car Association and the AdPro 360 Challenger Series for coming out here tonight and putting on a great show. Remember, AdPro 360 is an advertising agency that specializes in digital and social media marketing. For more information, go to adproresults.com. We would also like to thank all of the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. There you see them listed on your screen now. Additional thanks always go out to Eric Ekholm, whose link for his music is in the description of this broadcast, and June Lalonde, who provide us with all the great music you hear on the Global SimRacing Channel. See the screen for how to get a hold of them for more of their great work. Now, thanks to the team today. I want to thank Joe for twisting and tweaking the dials back there, Dougie for setting up our cameras, Sam for calling this race, and wish him the best of luck on, guess what? Yes, on the iRacing Esports Network right here on YouTube, the Lionheart IndyCar Series is going on now. They're going over the series details. You still have plenty of time to get over there and watch that great race. It's a big night, 29 laps at Spa, Francorchamps. Go enjoy it. I also especially want to thank our new friend here, Nick Schmig, for coming in and working with us tonight. We look forward to working with him again. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media. Of course we are. Twitter, @GSR Channel. Facebook, look us up there. Just go type in Global Sim Racing Channel. It's an easy find. Instagram, GSRC_Graham. That's how you get us on the gram. We also have the upcoming races for all of our other series on your screen now, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. And I don't even think most of you should be watching this at this point. You should be going over to watch the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Go check it out. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.